Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm going to be showing you 3 super strong, super easy Rammus jungle routes that are going to get you winning more games today. The whole concept behind Rammus' jungle route is you don't really ever want to do Gromp in your first clear route. It does too much damage since it does AP, and we run double armor, plus Rammus W specializes more towards armor rather than MR. The second thing you need to know, in general, we want to try to avoid taking Gromp, blue buff, or red buff whenever we don't have our E. The best route to run on Rammus is typically centered more towards red side. You get the damage and healing from red buff, and Rammus can easily take camps like raptors and golems since they're a multi-target monster camp. His hunter talisman and his W works very well against them. The first route I want to show you guys is solo starting on raptors and then taking your red buff with your E. This is a solid route if you want to take your buff quickly because you feel like an enemy might come for it, and it also sets you up for a really nice gank on the closest side lane. So if you're on the bot side of the map, obviously it's going to be a bot lane gank, and if you're on the top side of the map doing this route, Raptors red golem, then you would be ganking top lane. Obviously, if you're going to be doing this, you want to ward your opposite side of the map. That way, if the enemy does invade you, you can counter invade them. The dangers to running this route is it does force you onto one side of the map, so it will take much longer for you to get to the other side of your jungle if invading the enemy isn't an option. Normally what will happen is you'll have time to do 2 ganks or a gank in one more monster camp and then do Scuttle Crab. After that, you can either go and do your raptors and golems again as they're spawning back in, or once you have 900 gold, you can reset and get Bomby Cinder. The second route I have for you is just as fast, but you're going to be doing it when you don't want to gank your closest side lane. So once again, solo starting on raptors with my W, finishing off the camp, and then I'm going to level up my Q and go straight over to my golems from the raptor camp. You'll speed all the way in, and you can take the golems pretty well with just your Q and your W. You will be using your smite on the big golem. After you've finished off the golems, you're going to take your red buff. After red buff, you'll be level 3, and at this point, you normally go for a mid lane gank or cross over into your blue side jungle to continue farming to a 5 camp clear in the Scuttle Crab. This is a much more safe neutral clear route since it doesn't leave you stranded on the very bottom side of the map. We'll be hitting level 3 instead off of red buff instead of golems, which will allow us to get to our wolf camp or blue much faster. By the time we finish the red buff, it's roughly 2 minutes and 42 seconds. With the first route that we ran, it was 2 minutes 42 seconds, so it's the same speed. This route will normally end with you going to your wolves, then doing blue. At that point, Scuttle Crab will be spawned in at 3:15, and you'll either be able to go for Scuttle or gank into Scuttle. The third and final route I want to show you is done more out of desperation. If you're playing against a strong early game jungler and you don't want them to know where you start, or if your laners aren't willing to leash you, starting on wolves is a decent option. Most early game junglers play around their red buff and then they tend to invade you. In this particular case, by us starting on wolves, not only do we not take much damage, but then we can queue straight over to our raptors and then go straight into our golems to get level 3 with no buffs. You're going to be warding your wolf side. By doing this, you'll know whether or not the enemy jungler pushes into your blue side. You'll know if they're going for your blue or your Gromp, and then you can push into their blue side and get their blue or Gromp, depending on whatever is up. This is a really good route if you're up against a Lee Sin or Graves, a really strong early game jungler. Rammus' early game is rather weak. He's more of a mid game power spike jungler. He can power spike fairly early if he does get early kill gold, but in general, in his first clear, he's not going to be soloing many people. After your golem camp, you will be level 3. Golem plus any 2 camps in the game is level 3. Gromp plus any 2 camps is level 3. Once again, with Rammus Jungle, guys, you don't want to be doing Gromp in your first clear. You take too much damage unless you're about to back, or if you don't want to fight for scuttles. That's the only time you'll be taking Gromp in your first clear. And you don't want to be taking a buff without having taunt on Rammus unless you are getting a leash. So if you're level 1 on red buff with your W, if you are getting a leash, that is fine. But if you're going to start level 1 with no leash, do not start on red buff or blue buff. You take way too much damage. Solo start on raptors or wolves. If you are getting a leash, I do recommend it on your red buff. It's Rammus' more important buff. And you may be wondering, well, what do you do after that? You pretty much just substitute red buff as your start instead of raptors as your start, and then all these clear routes perform the same exact way. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this Rammus jungle clear route. He only really has 3 main jungle clear routes. Hopefully this video helps you out. If so, don't forget to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.